We are back. Welcome back to Sunday night's live stream, which is changing. I think I'm going to change this to Friday or Saturday evening, later in the evening. I don't know. We'll see. So let's get in the chat here a little bit. We're going to talk about barn raisins, not barn raisins, but barn raisings. I spelled it wrong intentionally. And shunning today. That's the plan anyway. As people filter in. Yes, so Sundays is my day or Sundays since spring is coming, warm weather's coming. I kind of enjoy taking Sundays for the family. Me and Miranda usually end up going doing something, bikes, hikes, whatever it is. Sunday afternoon drives. So we'll probably change this live stream to earlier in the week or I don't know, Monday nights. When works? Let me know again, guys, what works for you guys. Is a weekday better? I might be too stressed out. I don't know. But is a weekday better or a weekend? And what time? What times work for you guys? Hello, Sue. How are you? Welcome back. It's always good to see you. Good afternoon, evening. PAEMTFF9. Interesting name. So, that's a little distract. My wife's cooking dinner. I can hear the sizzle. That's interesting. So, any day is fine, Sue says. All right. Yeah, so life update. I started the Handyman service. Super busy, or not so busy with orders, but I'm busy trying to get that up and running. I do have work, and I am learning a lot fast, especially when it comes to estimates. Quoting people. That is the worst part of the job, I would say, so far, is to give people prices, because I don't want to gouge them, but make sure you're covered too. And it always seems to take longer. There's more parts needed. So, yeah, working through that. The Amish, and along with that, the Amish Potato Company, our online store. I'll put a link in the chat here. Is still going. I'm still working on getting that better, or getting more products up there. The time. I'm limited on time. So, hey, Daryl, how are you? Good to see you too. Hi, Cindy Lou. So, I got my phone here and screenshot. Maybe. Nope. Didn't screenshot it. Somebody asked about barn raisings. Hey, Kimberly. Yeah, so somebody asked about barn raisings in the comments and want more details about them. Now, I have personally never been a part of a barn raising, and I don't think there's ever been any in the community that I remember as a kid. But there have been a few, there's a house that burned down. I think I lived in Idaho at the time though, but a house burned down, and within a week they had a new house up with full working house and furniture for the family. Clothes and everything were sewn for them. So it's quite amazing what a lot of people can do in a short period of time. So, yeah, thumbs up. Thank you, Kimberly Friday, for reminding everybody. Give me a thumbs up. Get it out there. Let's see if we can get more people on the stream. Hey, Green Hubs. I still have your In-N-Out Burger there. I think you can see your sticker if I can move the right way. There's stickers right here. Green Hubs channel right there, your sticker. Anyway, so barn raisings. I'm just going to be speaking from assumptions, I guess, on how it all goes down. There you can find some videos on YouTube of barn raisings happening, some time lapses and stuff. And it's crazy. It just looks like a bunch of ants crawling all over a barn and it just gets built. But if a barn needs to be built, I'm once again talking from assumptions here. Typically somebody who knows what they're doing is going to start organizing it. Maybe there's more than one person, probably a construction guy, a contractor or something. And the foundation, the concrete will be laid, and a day will be picked out when everybody gets together and raises a barn or builds a barn. So some pre-work design has been done. The foundations are done. So are the materials for the build donated? In the case of that house, probably, I don't know if they were maybe discounted. Depends. It depends on. So if a barn burns down and they raise one up, or if a house burns down, Amish have Amish aid insurance, which would cover that. Maybe we can get into that a little bit more later. But so the foundations and stuff, pre-planning has been done. They pick a day, probably a Saturday, where they're just going to raise a barn, and it's a big event. Word gets around. I don't know. I'm not sure if people get invited specifically or how that all works, but tons of people show up. Families, the whole family. Maybe not everybody's family, but women and kids are there. Lots of women because they need to cook. So the women will be cooking while the men are working, and the materials will be there, and they get to work. Like the head guy, the designer, probably just distributes people or just tells people to start here, whatever, start framing, and they'll start framing. I don't know how they decide who works with who. A lot of times I'm guessing that probably just kind of naturally happens. Like you just see like your buddy's over here. He started framing a wall. I'm going to go help him. I know him well. I'm going to work with him. So you just start helping him frame a wall. More people will join in, help frame. As other people are starting over here on this wall, off to the side, you're probably going to have a group of people who are going to be building trusses and all that stuff. I'm guessing it was nowadays, I think when they put up barns, it's stick framing, I guess. I don't know if there's a whole lot of timber framing happening, which is kind of sad because I love all those old timber frame barns. Kimberly Lindemann asked Amish designer, possibly, yeah. I don't know about how much design actually goes into a barn, but I think there's some smart Amish guys who can, engineer a building as far as prints. And Amish around here anyway use outside people to draw up buildings, houses in CAD or whatever they do that, however they do that. So it's quite phenomenal how Amish people can just pitch in and get it done. And it's not just Amish people that can do that. It's just the willingness to grab your tools. You know what you're capable of. If you're willing to learn, you just dig in. You just, right, there's a need. Let's get it done. Let's do it. And, if it means cleaning up, then so be it. If everybody's busy building something, there's not really room for anybody else, then you just start picking up scraps and taking them to the burn pile or whatever, or start bringing over, more lumber for them to build trusses with, or whatever it may be. It's really amazing to see a group of people like that just swarm, look for the needs, and do it. I'm sure these are events. These events are, kind of cool and kind of fun for them. You get to get together. You get to fellowship with each other. The men out there, I'm sure, are joking around, kind of, jibbing on each other, kind of giving each other crap. And, and then the kids are watching, and hopefully some young, wife getting the dog bowl. but it is quite amazing. So, and usually they can do, I think, can have it done in a day, from what I understand. Uh, and it's crazy. It's a huge barn done in a day. Now, when you have that many people raising a building, the quality may struggle a bit in areas because the people who are helping this isn't everyday work for them. They're not professionals, right? Some of them will be professionals in there, know what they're doing, and they're going to be directing and teaching people. But even though Amish are known for their quality, and especially cabinet building and stuff like that, there's still Amish who are kind of sloppy and don't know how to build quality. And you're going to have those guys mixed in, and some of the work's going to be a little shoddy. I've heard that the houses that burn down or get built by volunteers, by groups of people, that some of the craftsmanship is a little shoddy, a little off. And if you have, like, if you're building a house, say you have a group of people, got the concrete basement maybe right set, then you're putting floor joists in. Well, if somebody doesn't care about it being 100% in square, then you have, the walls are a little bit off and all that. And some people don't care about that, but then there's the others who are struggling with it because they want to do a good, right job. And here they're trying to install cabinets with a out of square kitchen, and it just, I'm sure there's some frustration and there's some, I don't know, but somehow they make it work and get it done. So another reason why Amish can work like that, I think, this is my opinion, like they just dig in and get it done. Number one, they were raised with responsibilities and chores. They were raised to work when they were kids, like that from when they could walk, maybe 3, 4, 5 years old. They were given chores. They were given responsibilities. They were taught that life, you have to work. For number one, and laziness is very much frowned upon in the Amish community. There are lazy people, but they are talked about, and I think for the most part, people don't want to be talked about in the Amish community. At least I wouldn't have wanted to be. I don't want to be known to be. I don't want people to know me as a lazy guy. And I'm sure a lot of other people don't. So there's a bit of pride involved in. I don't know if it's bad pride. All pride is bad. How does that work? I don't know. But they just don't want to be talked about badly. I remember when I was a kid, a neighbor guy brought his team of horses and was plowing up or mowing. He was mowing my grandma's field. My grandma lived right next door to us. She had the farm. Her husband died. My grandpa died when I was 5. She built a house right next door to our house, and so we were always over there. But she hired. My dad we didn't have a farm, so my dad didn't have workhorses. But the neighbor farmer brought a team of horses. Shorty is what they called him. He's a character, and I think he was mowing. Him and his son were mowing the field or something. Anyway, his son or somebody was mowing the field. Maybe it was, I don't know who was mowing the field, but me and him were sitting on the fence, and he was talking to me. I look back now and I kind of cherish those. I didn't really care about it at the time, and he was telling me that lazy people stink. That I don't know if I was lazy or something. He pointed that out or what, but he started, you don't want to be lazy. Like, lazy people stink. And it has stuck with me since then. And it's kind of true. Lazy people kind of stink. They're too lazy to take showers, number one. So yeah, they probably do stink a little bit. Yeah, it's just good to have men influences in your life. Where was I going with all this? Yeah, anyway, so Amish people don't want to be known to be lazy, although there are some. That's why a lot of them just dig in and get it done. Around here in the RV factories, the RV industry, you guys saw my video. Check out my video called RVs Built by Amish, Fueled by Amish Crack. that's what they do for work around here. And it's amazing how those things can get, how well they work, how those production lines are greased machines. Like they know what they're doing. They go in there, they do the same job every day over and over and over. And if you're, you work, like if you don't stand around, you get it done as fast as you can. And I know it's sloppy. It's the quality in RVs sucks. So they, Amish quality or that quality is bad. I get it. RVs are built cheap. They're built, yeah. But I'd rather have an Amish built RV than one that isn't built in the Amish community, because they're there every day. They're there for years, and they just know their job better, even though they fall apart in 5 years. They don't have the Amish people there don't make the choices on how they're designed, what products are used. So, but yeah, if you get caught standing around too much, if you're not just focused and doing your work all day long, like there's nonstop, there's maybe you get one break and then you get fired. Like if you're not part of it, then you get fired. So, that it, in a way, it could be a bad thing around here, because then when you come home from those RV factories and then when you work, you're just fast. Let's get it done. Let's do it, instead of slowing down, enjoying, roofing a house with your cousin or your friend. But yeah, there too, if you're lazy, if you're not a good worker, people will talk about you, and you don't want that. You don't want that. So as far as the house raisings go, like that house that burned down, an Amish house burned down a few years ago here in it'd be Shipshawana, Middlebury area. And I wasn't living here at the time. I just heard about it. But within a week, they had a new house up. They tore the old one down, the rest of the old one down. They had a new house up, fully furnished, closed zone for the family. So how does that all come about? Well, once again, just somebody, contractor, probably an Amish contractor, steps in, makes plans, puts things into motion. We need you, the roofer. You're going to be here on this day. We need you, right? So you have these Amish businesses that will come over, and then all the volunteers to come help, where you might get a framing crew in with the tools and then just frame up a house, and you'll have volunteers helping frame up that house. And then, the next day is people insulating and drywalling while the ceiling's, going on, however you do that. In the meantime, you're going to have somebody, an Amish cabinet shop, that's going to stop building cabinets for customers, and they'll just build some cabinets really fast for this house. That sounds kind of crappy. Maybe they don't do that. I don't know, but I'm assuming that's how it happens. You're going to have women, while the house is going up, the women are going to be measuring and sewing clothes for this family. Furniture is going to be bought. I don't know how much Amish aid paid for that house, or all of it. They probably should have covered all of it, but yeah, there's a lot of donations too. They have haystack suppers, which are delicious. Go to one if you can, where they raise money. They have sub or pizza drives. I've been part of those, where that's an interesting thing. A sub drive or a pizza drive is where somebody heads up this pizza making thing for a day, a Saturday, or they might start Friday night, where they just get the ingredients for making pizzas or making sub sandwiches. They'll make a whole bunch, and they'll have volunteers there making them, and then they usually have youth who drive cars around here in Rumspringen. We can do that. They'll get youth to volunteer to deliver pizza and subs, pizza or subs, whichever it is, where they'll just drive, and they'll take somebody else Amish with them with a bucket, little hole cut in the top. Usually it's an ice cream bucket. They'll just go from door to door in Amish communities. They'll get their little map section where they need to cover, and they'll just go door to door, knocking on doors. And if somebody's home, hey, you want some subs, donation for so and so and so. Yeah, we'll take 5. You bring in 5 subs, the bucket gets handed out. They put whatever donation money they want in the bucket, and then you drive to the next house. And I don't know if those are still going, but they used to be pretty hot back in the day. And it used to be chicken too. I know, like, yeah, we used to enjoy when people showed up. You know, it's I think Amish people do enjoy that because, well, the wife doesn't have to cook for one meal other than maybe sticking a pizza in the oven. And it's just something different. Somebody else cooked it, and, you know, they don't eat out that much. So it's something different. And it's a good way of collecting fundraising money for, yeah, burned houses or hospital bills or whatever it may be. You know, if you ever hear of those, you could volunteer to drive Amish people around. Just, yeah, unless you're a weirdo, don't do that. So barn raisings, yeah. So the women, I think it's probably only just one meal lunch. So they start in the morning after breakfast. They come help. I don't know. Maybe some of you ex-Amish know better than I do. They eat lunch. They work again until evening. Then they go home. I'm sure there's still a lot of work left to do, but at least the main structure is up. If you want a good barn raising video, go watch Family Guy Amish barn raising. Just YouTube Family Guy Amish barn raising. I'm joking. It's not. It's just hilarious. It's funny. I don't watch Family Guy a lot, but I stumbled across that and I just laugh because it's hilarious. Let me get to some questions and maybe we'll get into shunning. Share. Sue Smith says we can learn a lot about community from the Amish. Yeah, you can. You know, there's 2 things that Amish people. I just watched another interview. It used to be Shed Happens channel. It's now, is it Life with Josh and Sarah? Not sure. Life with, is it something? It's something with Josh and Sherry. The channel's name is something with Josh and Sarah. Like, I think it's Life with Josh and Sarah. I don't know. He interviewed another former Amish guy, and, you know, just I've listened to so many interviews now of them sharing what they, you know, what do they miss the most about the Amish communities, and one of them, mostly it's the community. They work together really well. Like that, yeah, they're really good with that. They're just taking care of each other, helping each other out. Of course, there's some negatives that come with that. You know, you're more into each other's business, but it's so good. It's awesome. Another thing, you know, speaking about kids working hard when they were younger, I have never heard a former Amish person complain about how hard they worked or how they were taught to work. They didn't like it at the time. No kid likes working. I didn't either. I didn't really work that hard. We didn't work that hard. We had 3 acres, but we were still taught a work ethic, not like the farm kids, but still somewhat. And when we work in the outside world, outside of the community somewhere, we're usually shocked by how not eager people are to work, you know, like it's important to teach your kids how to work, and every former Amish person that I've ever listened to appreciates the work ethic they were taught. So do they do hip roof anymore? I'm not sure what you mean by that. On other people's houses or their own? I'm not even sure I know what hip roof is. It's a good question. Addie says cooking is work too. Yeah, all the women, you know, that's another huge thing is the women cooking for the men, preparing the meal. And it's not easy like that. I'm sure that meal is mashed potatoes and gravy and dressing and all that. I don't tell my wife enough, but I'm kind of busy and doing stuff, and it's so helpful if she cooks a meal and I don't have to, and I really appreciate that. It's awesome. She's even very accommodating when it comes to my diets, which carnivore diet, I think it's 7 weeks now. Still going good. It's awesome. I think I'm just going to keep going. I might add eventually this summer when the veggies come in, I might add some veggies and some blueberries, some raspberries and stuff like that. So David Hossel says, not all pride is bad. You are far from lazy. Yeah, pride is not bad. I don't know how do you know I'm not lazy? Sometimes I feel lazy. Yeah, I think it's good to be, yeah, not all pride is bad. Yep. And it's good. If you're a hard worker and you get it done, it's very satisfying. It's very satisfying. What is a doddy house? Sue Smith asks, what is a dodgy? I don't know. I'm thinking doddy house. That's a doddy house is just simply when a family, a husband and wife, their kids all get married and move out. They build a small house and usually let one of their kids take over their house, the big house. A lot of times around here, especially in Topeka area, you'll see the doddy house, the grandpa house is what it translates to, attached to the main farmhouse. You'll see it everywhere. My parents are now at the age where there's only a few of my siblings left at home, so they're looking at building a doddy house somewhere. And they're not sure what that looks like. Oh yeah, so you corrected doddy. Yep. So doddy is grandpa in Amish, Pennsylvania Dutch, grandpa house. And yeah, usually it's a 1-bedroom type of deal, maybe 2 bedrooms. Yeah. David Hosteller says, I know very few lazy Amish folk. Greg Gorthek is part of the culture. Yeah, there's not a lot of lazy people. There are a few sometimes, but there's not a lot. Most of them work. And I don't know that there's a lot of not lazy English people. Like I've worked with great, even in Idaho, right? In the trailer factory the RV factory out there was some great workers. No Amish influence there. There's a lot of non-Amish people who work in the trailer factories here, and they're good workers. They just they have to do it or they're out, right? So they either get on board or they don't. But I think the most non-Amish people, and I think the problem is that life is too, like, the TV's in the house, the washer and dryer, you load the washer and dryer and you walk away. And it's just, everything's done for the kids. I think in most homes, not everybody, but everything's done for the kids. And it just doesn't give them responsibilities. It just causes lazy kids. They expect everything to be done for them. So Justin Melhoff, are you still in Idaho, or did you move back to the East Coast? Didn't you leave the Amish? Yeah, I am no longer in Idaho. So me and my wife moved back to Michigan, not the East Coast, but Michigan. But yeah, we did leave the Amish. We are now living close to the community I grew up in, though. David Hosteller says, not shunning. I know all too well what it is. Yeah. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. I don't know how much time I have. 30 minutes. I got to get into that. So Green Hub says, when the lantern is going, I can't stop thinking that it's going to light the wall on fire. Yeah, it's not going now, but it shouldn't. There's a piece of metal behind it. It's crazy that there's not more fires in Amish communities, or was more fires in Amish communities, because of those kerosene lights that we used to have on our nightstands and read by and sometimes fall asleep with it on. Now a lot of them use battery lights. I'll have to do a video on those, but they have Alpha Building in Shipshewana sells. I don't know if somebody 3D prints them or something, but they make adapters that slide onto these tool batteries, Makitas, DeWalt's, Milwaukee's, with LED bulbs, and that's what most Amish people use for lighting around here nowadays. There's a couple Amish auctions once a year close to me. Combination of farm machinery, household goods, services, food, etc. Money used towards household. Yep. So yeah, lots of benefit stuff going on. Amish are around here are very generous when it does come to benefit auctions, even if it's not somebody Amish. I know there's been benefit auctions in Shipshewana where people they'll literally buy furniture and donate it to the auction. Or, if they're a furniture shop, they will make a piece of furniture and donate it. They will, and Amish people will buy it. Like it seems like from what I've seen in these benefit auctions, the budget goes out the window when Amish start buying things. Like they have little aluminum bike carts made by an Amish person for Amish people, basically. And, just an example, if one of those is on an auction, they'll pay double, triple what they would for a new one, just going to the shop, 2-3 miles away to buy one. But knowing that it's going to go for a good cause. I'm sure there's tightwads, obviously, but for the most part, these auctions, they're generous. So Amish men I'm assuming this is Jimmy Hoffa is asking a question here. Amish men ever make dinner for the family, like a certain food the men like to cook for their families? A lot of Amish men grill. Typically, that's the men who do the grilling. They'll have the green eggs. They have whatever new fancy grills there are. They'll cook if they have to, when they have a younger family and the wife's off doing something. However, I don't know that you necessarily want to eat food cooked by an Amish man, except for steaks, because most of them, the majority of them aren't really that great because they never did it as kids. They had moms cooking for them. Right? It's just, this is how it is. They had moms and sisters. My mom and sisters cooked our food, and we never had to do a lot of cooking. We did, I made toast. I know how to make toasted cheese and egg sandwiches and stuff like that. But my kids never liked my cooking. I don't know why. I need to be influenced more by Chef David Hostetler here. But some Amish men can cook, and a lot of them can grill. Really good. Chef might have more to say on that. So you're busy doing a whole lot of things, so you can never be. You seem to be busy doing a whole lot of things, so you can never be lazy. Yep, correct. I'm guessing, David, you're from Ohio, right? I'm guessing things are different there than here. Here we have the RV factory where everybody goes to work, starts at 5, is done by 12. Then they have all afternoon to go do stuff. So I think the Amish around here have way more leisure time than any other community. So I don't know if this is, what happens when an Amish woman is overweight? I'll clean that up for you, Gracie. Will someone still love and marry them? Yeah. I don't know how much they will. Yeah. They don't get divorced. Just rarely happens. Karen Yoder English says, I'm here for the moment. Hubby is smoking supper. Nice. Yep. Is there really an Amish mafia neolog? Nope, absolutely not. It's just the bishop. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Thanks, guys. Hit that thumbs up. I am. So, C. Smith, how many kids do you have? We only have one at home right now, Miranda. So Hannah is in California in Bible college. Dara is in Idaho with the grandparents. So anyway, I don't think I missed any of that. We can get into shunning. First, belts. A few of you have gotten belts. I hope you guys are liking them. This is one with a black buckle, crazy horse color. Get them online, the Amish Potato Store. I'll put another link in there. No shame, right? That's all I still have up there. However, yeah. Remember these belts. If you guys have bought these belts, they will be stiff at first. They are a little stiff. It's just the nature of leather. And if you're ordering belts, keep in mind, it is leather. It is a cowhide, so there can be imperfections in it. Let me see here. And slight discoloring maybe, but this is Crazy Horse, so this is going to be complete. This is water buffalo, and it's a different leather, and it's kind of a cool leather. I really like the look of it, and it'll show scratches and all that very easily. But it's a cool looking leather. But then the regular harness leather, it's real cowhide, and it might have imperfections, and we're trying to not send you guys bad belts, but might be some discoloring here or there, some wrinkles here or there. We can't control the cow and how well the cow took care of its skin. Sounds bad now. What is coming is this, guys. I'm excited. I can't wait. We have them. They're going to be available as soon as I get pictures taken and put online. Dog collars. Check that out. Yeah, I'm excited about these. We were struggling to find buckles, but these buckles aren't cheap, but they look the best. So we went with them. It's going to make them a little bit more expensive. I like the good looking collar. This might be my favorite color. We have it. We're going to have it available in the darker brown as well. In these two buckle colors. I mean, if you see that. So a nickel matte and antique bronze. So, and I'm going to brag about these. So be looking for these hopefully by next week. Oh, I don't know. I got a lot going on this. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully by next weekend. These dog collars they're stiff at first, but my dad, just out of generosity, made us one for Trooper, our boxer pit bull mix, and I love it. And I actually bought one for Bear as well, because at first they're stiff, just the nature of leather, but once they wear them and the oils get in there, they're really pliable, and I'm sure they're way more comfortable than the nylon ones. The nylon ones will stay stiff. But you see the design on this? So you have the ring out here and the buckle right here. And then, yeah, it's stitched right here and right here. But the reason we do this is because when you have a leash on him and he's pulling against his collar, it's not pulling against stitching. It's pulling against the leather. If most collars have stitching here, the ring, and then stitching, but that means that he's just pulling against the stitching, which will break easier than leather will. So, yeah, strong leather dog collar. My dad, who's built buggy harnesses, made buggy harnesses most of his life, buggy and workhorse harnesses. He's repaired a lot of harnesses from other harness shops, and he sees where the weaknesses are, and he compensates for that in a way. He's a picky guy with his work. He likes quality. He overbuilds things a lot of times. That's where I get it. When I build a chicken coop, it's overbuilt. I want to do it right the first time, right? And that's I get it from my dad. But beautiful leather collar, and we can get it stamped. So there's the dark brown. I don't know if you can see the difference here. Yep, dark brown. And then we have it. This is, I don't know, this is beautiful. We have an 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches right now. That is beautiful. The water buffalo with that antique brass buckle. These buckles and rings are all solid brass. That's why they're expensive. So they don't wear out and rust. But I love the look of that. And I ordered a black one for Bear. As you can see, Bear. Get this right. Yeah, stamped in it. That's just a black one. He's dark brown, so I figured black would look good. So you're gonna be able to custom stamp or get your custom name put on the collar. I have a sample of have a sample of, that's what the name looks like stamped into. He went a little hard there. You can see the square of the stamp, but it's kind of what it looks like in the Crazy Horse color. It's beautiful. Now, when you put these on dogs, I guess all backwards. When you put these on dogs, they're going to scratch the leather. Like they're just, because they're scratching away. They won't stay new looking for long, but the comfort, I think, is going to be exceptional. I think they're going to like that better than nylon, and it still stays cleaner. I should go get my dog's collars. Hang on, I'll be right back. No, I'll get them ready next time. Because the nylon we have a black nylon one for Bear, and it's just dirty and hairy and just frizzly, and I don't like it. Trooper's collar, he scratched it, everything, but it's still soft and nice and clean. So be looking for those. Where are we at here? There's a lot of farming in Ohio. There are a lot of side industries like furniture, buggies, and all that good stuff. Yeah, they have their own local businesses. One of these days, I want to go out there and just cruise around with my wife in one of the summer days in Holmes County area, that Amish community. Gracie says, congrats on your daughter being in Bible college. I wish her the best. Yep, she's almost graduating out of that. And she wants to work in the church childcare in Idaho, which is awesome. She's great with kids. Andrew says, I got one that is great, but I ordered too small, so somebody getting a gift. Oh, I'm sorry, Andrew. Yep, I remember your name. Yep, sorry about that. Did we sent you the right one, right? The one you ordered, though? This is for a big dog. Yeah, we're still trying to find hardware for thinner collars for smaller dogs. Hardware it's a pain because sometimes we can get the buckle, but not the ring in the same color. It's just funny how that works. Picking is good. Yep. All furniture Amish make is well made, not like the furniture you buy in the store. Yeah, David, it is usually it's solid wood, good stuff. Yeah, hey, David, your belt should be on the way. Your belt should be almost there. It might be there tomorrow. Sorry for the delay. My dad made them, and then I wasn't happy with it, so I made him make you a new one. That's one thing about this. Crazy Horse. Your Crazy Horse, right? 1.5 inches. So he made it was good, except the color was really light compared to the pictures I had shown. And so it was the whole belt was like that color instead of, dark how it should be. So I made him make you another one, and it took a couple days to turn that around. It's kind of tricky with this my dad's situation. I have to drive down. I call him with the orders, leave him a message, and then I have to, when I get a chance, drive down there, pick up the belts, and ship them. So but it should be there. I mailed it out Thursday, I believe. Was it Thursday? Friday. Maybe not till Friday. Maybe you won't get it till Tuesday. Yeah, I apologize for that. Same with Ken. I believe her name was Ken. Why do Amish girls all get their teeth taken out? Well, that's not the case with all Amish. Some Amish communities do not take or some families, I should say, they do not go to the dentist. They just decide, well, we're just going to pull the teeth and put false ones in. Maybe they go to the dentist, but they just pull the teeth. It's kind of sad. They should take care of them. Yeah, the belts will last forever. How's Dad feel about the business? Oh, he likes it. He's hoping that, he enjoys it. He hopes he gets more and more. So, yeah, I'm excited. I just need to, on my end, I need to get more advertising and more, get it out there more, get on the website, get things rolling. It's just, you only got so much time, building a business, 2 businesses at the same time. I am doing my own websites. They're simple websites, just Square, and Google Sites, but that, and I'm building the logos myself, and the website, you got to fill out get your EIN number, and then get your business license, whatever that is, with the state, and then there's problems with the website or something, and you gotta deal with all that. I have to learn how to use all the tools online, and then just do it, and it's been taking so much time. So the AmishPotato.com, the AmishPotato.com is one. And then my other business, FawnRiverHandyman.com, you can go to that one. Check it out if you're interested, but that doesn't have anything to sell. It's just a website. Yeah, I need to get that dog collars on there. Hopefully I can do that this week. And taking pictures, making sure the lighting's right. Yeah, time to hire some of this stuff out. Yeah, it just costs money. Anyway, shunning. So let's get into shunning a little bit. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for the compliment. Don't forget to patent that logo. Yeah, I need to learn more about that. It's just another thing. Patent the logo and get the copyright on the name. So yeah, I think that's doable. I just need to get on that. So yeah. Anyway, shunning. So shunning, I get a lot of questions about, are you being shunned? Can you visit your family and all that? So we'll just get into that today and kind of why shunning is a thing in the Amish community. Yes, I was shunned for a year and a half, and then that was lifted. And I was shunned because I left the Amish church. So most of you have probably listened to my testimony, but I joined the Amish church, went through a breakup at the same time, and I was a member of the Amish church for, it was 9 months, I don't know. And I just left. The breakup was hard on me. I was rock bottom. I was in my desert experience, and I had to get out. So I left. And in our community, it's quite different than Schwarzenegger communities where people literally have to run away. We don't have to run away in the middle of the night here. We just either never join the church or we just leave. And we continue working with people. A lot of times there's people, not a lot of times. Sometimes when people leave, they're working in the RV factory with 120 other Amish guys, right? So they just show up one day with a pair of jeans and a t-shirt on and a haircut. And it's really weird and hard for them at first, but and people shy away from them for a while, for a year or two, but then pretty soon they're interacting again like nothing ever happened. But so my shunning was really easy experience. It wasn't hard at all because I was a member of the Amish church, and then I moved to Idaho. And then I lived in Idaho for about a year and a half. So I missed 3. Amish people have communion church twice a year. If you miss 3 communion churches, Kadoskami, big church, that means, you take communion with the other Amish members and you wash feet. If you miss 3 of those in a row, you're excommunicated, which is what happened. But I was in Idaho, so it didn't really affect me. So I moved to Idaho a year and a half later. My old bishop, he called me up. He said, "Hey, we've missed communion so many times. We have to shun you." And I said, "Okay, that's fine." And so then I was shunned for about another year and a half. And then he called me up again and said, "Hey, we know that you're going to a church, and if you can get the pastor of that church to send me a letter saying you're a good, upstanding member of this church, we will lift the shunning from you." And so I did, and that's what happened. Now it's a Calvary chapel, so there's no membership. It's just believers. But I was, I guess, an upstanding member. So yeah, it worked out great. for me, it would have been a lot harder had I lived in here. How do I want to? So shunning is meant to, it gets abused, and my experience with it wasn't a bad experience. I knew it was coming. I was like, okay, it's fine. I don't care if you shun me for the rest of my life. I have to change. Something in my life has to change. If you want to shun me, that's fine. I don't need you guys. Something's got to be different. So I knew it was coming. I embraced it. I understood where they're coming from. I didn't hate them for it. But that might not be the case in people's lives. So I don't want to lighten that for them. I don't want to lighten their story. They have different experiences with shunning, and it can be extremely hard and very painful for sure. I got lucky. When I left, it was a breakup. I was, people I think understood, most of them. They tried to talk me out of it, some of them, but I literally, the day before I left, I talked to the bishop. I said, I have to go. Something has to change. I'm going to go. It's just what it is. I don't have any other options anymore. And he said, well, we don't want to see that. We hope everything will be okay, and I can't remember if it was him or somebody else who said, just remember us. If you ever want to come back, we're here. So it doesn't get better than that, right? When it comes to shunning or somebody leaving the Amish church. But I think they understood because of the time that what I was dealing with. And they just, it didn't just happen to me, but it happened to a few others. It happened to a friend of mine where basically we joined the Amish church for an Amish girl, hoping to get married. So we joined. Mine isn't, I'm leaving out a lot of details, so it's not exactly accurate, but accurate. I'm leaving out a lot of details on my part. But in the cases of a friend of mine and a few other people where they joined the Amish church because their girlfriend was a member of the Amish church. So they joined and to plan on getting married. Well, then, and then the girls oftentimes are the ones that, even though the guys don't want to join, they'll say, well, if you want to be with me, you have to be Amish. So the guys join. Well, then after they've joined, for some reason, the girls break up with the guys. And now they're left Amish and didn't want to be to begin with. So I don't know why that happens, why the girls do that, but it happens. And a lot of times, in most cases, the girls end up leaving the Amish themselves after that, a year or two after that. It's kind of weird. Happened in my case, happened with my buddy. So the guys end up leaving because they didn't really want to be there to begin with. I don't know where I was going with that. And it seems, and it's really sucks being in that position because, you're doing everything you can to make things work out. And then it's just, they break up and it just feels like you get thrown in the trash. Just like you walk through hell, you charge hell with a bucket of water and you conquer. I shouldn't use hell. You conquer something that's very painful and hard and takes a lot of work. And you come through the other side bruised and beaten down and tired and but victory, right? Victory. And then the breakup, and it just feels like you get everything gets tossed. You just get tossed in the trash like you're useless. That's the feeling of it. Now the girls have their reasons. Obviously, they can't continue with a relationship they don't want to be in. So there's their side of the story too. Just this is how it feels for us. So when I decided to move to Idaho, I think a lot of people understood where, they kind of might have even felt sorry for me, and they weren't as hard on me for leaving as they would have been normal families. So yeah, it is what it is. Shunning. So shunning is meant to correct a brother. In Scripture, you're supposed to, if somebody sins against you, or you're if you see a brother in sin or something, see a brother in sin, say you're supposed to go to him personally. You see him in sin, you see him fornicating. He's fornicating outside of marriage, right? Or he's getting drunk in the bar every night, or whatever it may be. You have to go to him. Look, man, you're claiming to be a Christian, a born again Christian, and you're sinning. This isn't good. You have to correct that. And if he repents and changes, turns 180, that's all good, right? Free and clear. Nothing else needs to happen. If he's not repentant, if he doesn't repent, you're supposed to go in with one or two people and bring it up to him. Look, your actions, you're saying you're Christian, you're not acting Christian. You're sinning. It's not good. You can't do that. If he's still not repentive, doesn't repent from that, you're supposed to take him before the church and bring him before the church and call him out, basically. And if he still doesn't repent of it, or he's not repentive, I'm confused, man, whatever, then you're supposed to kick him. You're supposed to put him out of the church, right? That's what the Bible says. And it has happened. It has happened in our church in Idaho. I think I wasn't there when it happened. I just heard about it. Most of the time, though, if you're a born again believer, if that person is a born again believer and he messes up in sin, which we all do, get called out. If we get called out on it, we're going to repent. We're going to be yes, not because of obedience to the other people or anything like that. It's because of our heart is for Christ, and we want good, just like Paul says in Romans. We don't do what we want to do. We do what we want. We want good, even though we don't do it sometimes, right? So we don't want to sin because of our heart change, because Christ has changed our heart. We don't want to sin, even though we do still sin sometimes. So when we do sin and somebody calls us on it, we repent of it, right? We say, yes, we're sorry. I'm glad you brought it up. We're going to change our ways, whatever, you know what I mean? In a nutshell, I think that's what the shunning in the Amish church was kind of designed as. It's just handle it wrong. You know, I had a viewer, Mike, he sent me pictures of shunning, the Amish shunning, and their beliefs behind it, why they do it, and their the reasons why and their beliefs on it. And they take these verses completely out of context. You know, like Proverbs 3:7-8 says, a wise man fears the Lord and shuns evil. And then for 1 Corinthians, it says, I am writing to you, Paul says, sorry, let me slow down. 1 Corinthians 5:11, I am writing to you that you must not associate with anyone who claims to be a brother or sister, but is sexually immoral or greedy, an idolater or slander, a drunkard or swindler. Do not even eat with such people. So I think that's probably the main verse they attach shunning to, and this is why they have to do it. You know, it says, also in Matthew 18:17, Jesus says, treat the excommunicated as pagans and tax collectors. So there is biblical backing for setting a member aside from a church, but only if he's not repentant, right? If he repents, he's good to go. He's not repentant, refuses to repent, refuses, most likely he's probably not a born-again believer, and we should view him as an unbeliever and treat him as an unbeliever. It doesn't mean that you can't sit down and have a meal with him. When Paul says, do not even eat with such people, you have to remember in the context back in the day, eating with somebody, from what I heard, means that you are associating with them and you are fully okay with their actions, right? Eating with somebody back in Jesus's time, I guess, was a big deal. Like you only invited the people to your house to eat with if you were okay with the way their life was. That's why That's why when Jesus was eating with tax collectors and sinners and prostitutes, that the Jews were so astounded. Like, what? He claims to be this man, this good man, this, the Messiah or whatever, but he's eating with the dirty people. Like he why? That's bad. But the difference is those sinners and tax collectors weren't claiming to be Christian, right? They weren't claiming to be born again Christians. They weren't claiming to be saved. So hopefully I'm not confusing this too much, but it's okay for us to go eat with unbelievers, sinners, to interact with them. We should not, however, be indulging in their lifestyles, drinking a lot, fornicating. We shouldn't be associating with them because it hurts our witness as Christians, right? When people look at us and we're out getting drunk with unbelievers, that doesn't look very Christian at all. Why would they want to become Christian? Why would they want to know more about Christ if our lives aren't examples of better or, good? I don't know how to kind of suck at wording this. So where were we going? So Paul here, I think in 1 Corinthians 5:11, isn't saying that you shouldn't not eat with, nowadays culture is a little different. So he's not saying you shouldn't eat with somebody. Like you can't eat with an excommunicated member, right? Remember, the excommunicated guy is an unbeliever. We view him as an unbeliever because he's not repentant. Doesn't mean that you can't necessarily sit down and eat with them. We should just treat him as an unbeliever. We can still sit down and have a meal with him, but we should always be encouraging him to come to Christ, or treating him like an unbeliever, like we would anybody else who's isn't born again. The Amish take it literally, where you aren't supposed to eat with or associate with such a person. I might have some disagreements here. So the Amish approach it very, very wrongly. So if a brother or an Amish man or woman comes to the bishop, confesses sin, that is confession. We're supposed to confess our sins to each other. Doesn't need to be the bishop. It could be anybody in the church, right? They should just be able to go to anybody in the church and say, hey, I did this sin. I just need to confess it. Pray with me, and all is good. It's a repentant heart. If they go to the bishop, then the bishop then takes it to the church. This is how it happens. The bishop takes it to the church. They vote on whether they need to be shunned for a period of time or not. So they're doing it all wrong. If they go to the bishop, they should be the church shouldn't be allowed to forgive anybody. Decide to forgive anybody. The church, that's a heresy right there. The Amish do not. It is unbiblical. It is very dangerous to have the power to forgive people. This should never happen. Only Jesus forgives. Only Jesus. And you're already forgiven. What is going on? Must have been an hour. Something. Okay. So that's wrong, but they shouldn't ever bring it in front of the church if the person is already repenting. And then they decide, is there a punishment or not? And the punishment, I get it, it's in their eyes, they're setting the member aside because he's now sinning and he needs to be set aside from the church, right? Treat the excommunicated as pagans and tax collectors, but they aren't really, because they should be believers, right? They're setting them aside so they have a period of correction, and they say they don't do it for punishment. I've heard it over and over. It's not for a punishment. It's just, I don't know how they worded it now, but it's to bring them back. It's to set them aside so that they can, I don't see how it can't be a punishment. But it's not to kick them out or make life hard for them. Is to draw them back in somehow. I don't know. But a lot of times the shunning is, it's funny how, a lot of times the shunning is because of things they broke, like the ordinance that they broke. It's not because of actual sins. It seemed like a lot of the actual sins, biblical sins, they were repentant of and they weren't shunned at all. But then they didn't follow the ordinance correctly or something, drove a car or whatever, wore some non-Amish clothes for a couple of weeks and then came back to being Amish. They get shunned for weeks. So it's kind of odd how that works. A lot of times the shunning is because of their ordinance, which is man-made rules, which shouldn't be. But they view it as, you made a promise to God to follow these rules for the rest of your life. You broke that promise to God. Now you need to be shunned. So yeah, shunning is wrong. It just is. It just is. It's just wrong. Yeah. But there is biblical correction. There is a way to correct church members. We need to be corrected at times. It's just handled differently. So, which I explained. Whew, that was confusing. That, when I was thinking about earlier, that played out way smoother in my mind. They take everything completely out of context. So what shunning looks like is, for me, what it looked like was I could still eat at the same table as my family, but they had to dish out the food. So I could, like, if they passed the mashed potatoes, I couldn't take a scoop of mashed potatoes and pass it on to a member of the Amish church, brother, mom, dad, whatever. At that point, they couldn't have eaten out of that bowl anymore. They couldn't take anything from me. They can give me stuff, but they can't take anything from me. So, really the only time that I remember where shunning really affected me was when my parents came out to visit. They weren't allowed to stay at my house for the night because they can't take rooms from me, right? They weren't allowed to drive with me. My wife had to do the driving, and or my brother. And then I remember we were sitting. I took my family to Balance Rock in Idaho, and I didn't take him. We went to Balance Rock, Idaho. My brother was driving, and I just rode along, I think. And the rock is up on a hill, so most of my family climbed up to the rock. My mom didn't want to. I had been up there 1,000 times. So me and her sat at the bottom watching them, just talking, and she brought out a bag of pretzels and laid it on the table there where we were. And I didn't think about it, and I just reached in and was eating pretzels because I completely forgot about this shunning thing. And my mom, I noticed, like, that after that, all of a sudden it dawned on me, and I noticed my mom wasn't eating pretzels anymore. I'm like, oh. I felt bad. I felt really bad because now she can't eat the pretzels. And if I would have just thought about it, I could have done fine without pretzels, right? Like, I knew the shunning was coming. I was okay with it. And the only other time that it affected me, because it was the only time I saw my parents during the year and a half of shunning, was when I came in for a wedding at my sister's wedding. And it was awkward because, well, I guess family still sits together, but I had to sit next to my mom so that she could dish out my food. So I sat there while she filled my plate and then passed on I just leaned back so the food could be passed on easily to my next of kin, which is a little awkward and embarrassing. It makes you feel like a kid, but other than that, it just didn't bother me, and the bishop, his interaction with him, bishops can use this as a power, and they do all the time. There's bishops all over the place that do. They just use that shunning and everything as a power and the control, right? And it's devastating to people. In my case, our bishop was our neighbor. He, as most bishops in northern Indiana anyway, they do not choose to be bishop. They don't really want to be bishop. they just get voted in, and by lots that are drawn, they're bishop, and they're given the responsibility of the crappy work sometimes. And he didn't want to shun me, and like that's not, he didn't want, he didn't tell me this, but I'm pretty sure the guy is great. His family, they were neighbors with us for all those years. Really, really good family. Maybe they have secrets that I don't know about. I don't know, but really good family. Just we always had a lot of respect for them as a family. They lived on a farm. For a long time, we would buy our raw milk from them. We'd go down there and get their milk. Yeah, just phenomenal. And the kids and everything. Great people. He didn't want to do it, but he has to, right? And maybe, well, he didn't have to shun me, but he does. He has to do his job in their eyes, right? If he doesn't shun me, then he's going against his own beliefs. Like, in his beliefs, he has to shun me. So he did. He just told me he has to do it, and I'm like, that's fine. I understand. There's no hate here, and it's all good. And it was. I felt bad for making him do it. I honestly did. I felt bad for putting him through it, and that's okay. And yeah, I just I hated it. I hated that he had to do something like that, because it's not easy for him. It's not easy for him to go tell somebody, hey, you're being excommunicated, you're in the ban, being shunned, blah blah blah. It's not, for most bishops, that's not a fun job. For some, they might enjoy it. But now, yeah, once again, this is not the case with everybody. There's a lot of Amish groups out there, a lot of Amish people out there who shunning was horrible. I'm sure if you're a family who leaves in an Amish community for a few years, it's gonna be hard. It's because it seems when somebody, even here, if somebody leaves the Amish community, it's hard for about year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years until the rest of your family finally, like, they treat you like crap. They're hurt by you, and because you left them and all that. Like, you left the Amish church and they're so hurt, and there's tension, and there's maybe fighting and stuff going on. But after a year, 2, 3 years, they finally just accept the fact that their sibling left, and that's just how it's going to be. And they start mingling again and getting along together. And then pretty soon it's like almost like nothing ever happened. They won't ever fully accept the fact that you left, but it gets a lot better. I'm assuming Holmes County is the same way. Definitely not like that in stricter communities. Let me back up here. Oh, thank you, Gracie. I was shunned for leaving the Amish church. I still go back to visit family. We still own a small farm there, but moved further north in Ohio to rebuild our lives after the shunning. Yeah, I would say that would probably be the best thing, is just move away. I don't know why other families don't. David, yeah, it'd be interesting to hear your story, David. If you ever want to share, just let me know and we'll get you on here. I'm always open to hearing other people's stories. And shunning goes against what the Bible teaches. You can tell I don't believe in it. Yeah, it's wrong. The way they shun is wrong. Shunning is wrong. It's not biblical at all. Church discipline can be, though, if it's done right. A very polite shunning. It was a very polite shunning. I got very lucky, So when my dad was younger, he almost married a Swartzen Trooper Amish. He decided to go his own way. Probably a good choice there. David Martinez. It's probably a good choice he made. So Gerald Raver, we were shunned too for leaving the Amish. God convicted me that I don't have to give account how they treat us. I do have to, my attitude toward them. It's a process to do that. Yep, Gerald. I'm glad you realize that. A lot of us who leave, I didn't have it so much against the church as a person, but a lot of us who leave have a lot of what's the word for it now? Bitterness towards the Amish church, especially if some people get picked on a lot about the clothes they wear, not the covering strings are too short, or the dress pleats aren't correct, or the hat brim is bent down, and they just get picked on and they leave, and there's a lot of bitterness there. And I understand. I fully understand. It's just something that we have to overcome. And like Gerald is saying here, we can't change other people's actions and thoughts and beliefs, but we can change our own, the way we handle things, our attitude. And it doesn't help to leave the Amish and turn around and just bash them and throw them under the bus and anything like that. It does help, though, if you turn around and love them through it all. So Gerald says the way they use shunning doesn't draw anyone back. If they go back Amish, it is out of fear. Exactly. Yep, it is out of fear. A lot of times it's out of fear. Hurting parents is probably one of the biggest reasons why people don't leave the Amish. Hurting parents and siblings. That is the hardest thing about leaving the Amish for most people, I would say. It would have been way easier just skipping out at the age of 18 if I hated my parents, if there was, if I had a reason to hate them. It would have been way easier leaving. I would have been like, yeah, I'm out of here. You guys suck. I'm out of here. But a lot of times that's not the case. So you have loving parents. You don't want to be Amish. What do? You don't want to hurt them, because it's going to hurt them if you leave. It hurts them bad. Like, it makes them older. It stresses them out. They think you're going to hell. They don't want their children to go to hell. They can't. That's a hard thing to visualize. So yeah, I made my parents quite a few years older, I'm sure. And I wish it wouldn't be like that, but it's kind of on them because they don't see the truth, I guess. But yeah, fear is why people go back. It is not. Shunning doesn't draw anybody back. Exactly. That is what they say it is for, but it's, we're not going to get into that anyway. May I ask which church you attend now? Yeah, Living Hope Fellowship in Sturgis. It's a Calvary Chapel affiliated church. So yeah, we were Calvary Chapel in Idaho. I kind of like, I don't know if my beliefs completely line up with the Calvary movement teachings, whatever they have, but I like their style of teaching. I like their worship. And it's the non-essentials that I might disagree with them on, but who cares? Yeah, it's non-essentials. Who cares? If they don't like it and want to kick me out, that's fine. But I just like their teaching, verse by verse teaching, and I like their style of worship. So I like their church setup. And they don't require membership. Like, I don't know that church membership is necessarily a bad thing. Like, I don't know that it's not biblical. I don't think I've ever read about church membership in Bibles. We need to hold each other accountable. I don't know that membership is a bad thing. It's just, it is a bad thing when you use it to hold people in. Like, I know there's a church in Idaho who does have membership, but if you, there's no regulations, like, right? You have to act as a believer does. You have to walk the walk, right? Which you should. You want to anyway, because you're born again. So if you do end up leaving that church and going to a different church, all that happens is, like, the pastor will say, hey, he'll call up the pastor from your new church and say, hey, so-and-so is now at your church. He used to be part of my shepherding. I used to shepherd my group, my responsibility. Now he's your responsibility. And I think that's okay if a person wants that. I run from that as hard as I can, because the church wasn't bad. It was a good church, good teaching. Because of where I come from, I don't want anything to do with it. I do not want anything to do with a church that says you have to dress up to go to church. If I want to dress up to go to church, I'll dress up to go to church. But I do not want a church that says you have to dress with long sleeve shirts, tucked in shirts, or a suit and tie, or whatever it may be, dress shoes. I'm out. I don't want any of that. People might say that, well, you should dress up because you're going to the house of God, right? Or you're going to worship God, and you should. If somebody's convicted of that, that's absolutely do it. But I'm pretty sure when Jesus was teaching back in the day, when the disciples were on the streets preaching, that people were dressed in their normal everyday clothes. And I'm okay with people coming in everyday clothes. Obviously, dress appropriately, you know. So, however you slice it, Amish shunning is tragic, traumatic, and life altering. Yep. You know, like I said, it wasn't for me, but I'm probably the rare case, the really rare case. But for most people, yes, it will be. I wish I can have a small life of my own, away from chaos. I am from East Africa, and we are having wars, and there is too much bitterness here. I envy the Amish life. Yeah, it's a good way to live. I don't know. Sometimes though, you know, I don't know what your situation is, so I can't speak to it. Just if you can move over here, do it. We'll take you. I've heard though, like missionaries from our church went over to Africa. I don't know where they were, but they said Africans are praying for Americans, and I believe it because America is trashed. It's bad. You know, there's still believers over here, and that's good. But you watch videos of people over in Africa worshiping God in their churches, and they're all in. There's no shame. They're all in. Like they're singing top of their lungs. They're just all in, and it's beautiful. And I wish we could have that here, but we're worried, or at least I am, when I'm singing that I'm worried I'm singing out of tune, and the person next to me, it'll throw him off, and he'll be looking at me with a shady eye, you know. And I wish we were all in like some of those communities in Africa. Our pastor went over there. It was a beautiful thing. I struggle with praying in front of people. Like I can pray with my family, but I struggle with a group of other Christians. I struggle praying. This is something I need to work on. I just don't like being the center of attention. I don't like everybody listening to me. It's kind of weird, I know, because I'm in front of a camera. Excuse me. But for some reason, when it's actual people, I shut down. So our pastor went to Africa, and when he came back, he had this idea. He says, we're going to try something they did over there. And he said that we're going to pray. This whole, 200 people in the congregation there, or in the sanctuary, we're all going to pray out loud at the same time. And I was like, oh boy, come on. No, no. But we did. And it was one of the most beautiful things I have ever experienced. I figured it would be really awkward and weird and just, definitely coming from an Amish church, that would never happen. They don't even pray. They pray out of a prayer book. So not even out of just their heart. So I was like, oh, this is going to be really weird and just awkward. But yeah, we did. And beautiful, very beautiful. It was so, when just one person's praying, we're all listening. And sometimes I'm praying to the side silently with somebody else. But when you hear all these prayers go up to God, the praise and the thanks and the asking for guidance in this or healing in that, it was beautiful. And we did it for a couple Sundays, and it kind of fizzled out, which is unfortunate because I thought it was awesome. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I'm not like, I don't know your situation in Africa. Like I don't know. I have no idea. But so there's some community somewhere in that big country where I'm a little envious of their heart for Christ. Oh, Gracie, yeah, thank you. I will continue as. She's talking to Africa. Pray for. Let's be praying for M3HA4I, for the chaos, the wars, all that's going on, the bitterness. Yeah, no good. So, continues for every enjoy. Neolog, what kind of career choices? How much time? Oh, I got 5 minutes. What kind of career choices have you seen ex-Amish women choose? Are Amish allowed to own guns? Was your wife Amish? My wife was not Amish. Amish are allowed to own guns. Definitely hunting guns. Amish are big hunters. There's there's few with ARs. They enjoy guns for sure, and handguns as well. They don't carry necessarily. They're not supposed to shoot anybody, but I wouldn't try attacking them. I wouldn't trust it because they're not supposed to kill anybody. But yeah, I don't know. Not all of them might agree with their own beliefs in that situation. If somebody came at them to get their kids or something. There's Amish around here. They love their guns. There's a couple guys I knew that they'd get tannerites, which is exploding targets. Like they could leave a loud boom. So they would collect whatever appliance they could, set it up in their backfield, hit it with a high powered rifle, and boom, they got a kick out of it. Amish women choose, ex-Amish women, jobs they choose. That's anything. Waitressing, RV factories around here. A lot of them are in RV factories around here. That's where the money's made. That's slowing down a bit, but waitressing, anything. They're accounting, my cousin Velda, I've had her on the channel. Go check out her blog, Velda at blogspot.com. I can't remember what it is now. She went to Bible college. She left the Amish, went to Bible college. I'm not sure what she does now, office work. She's writing her own book. They just kind of anything that they can get their hands on. I don't like seeing women in the RV factories. I feel like it's too much of a labor job and it's not very feminine. They do it. I think the waitressing is more feminine, more attractive from a man's perspective. That or secretary work or whatever. Yeah, there's some cleaning businesses around here. They do. So T. Joseph Yoakum, I believe if you're born again, you become a member of the church. Exactly. That's it. If you're born again Christian, you are a part of Christ's church. You're one of his sheep. You're the church. Christ only has one church. And that's everybody who is born again, who will, when he comes back, will be with him forever and ever and ever. Right? So he only has one church, the way, true Christianity. A lot of people claim they're Christians when they're not. And that's the church. That means people from our church, people from the Baptist churches, whoever's saved, is the church. The church building isn't the house of God. Yeah, I probably worded that wrong, Green Hubs. We are the temple, right? God's temple is now us, our bodies. It's kind of a scary thought, actually. We worship in spirit, truth, not by our clothes. Yep, exactly. See, Steve Smith, I am the same way praying in public. Glad I'm not the only one. So I don't know how to overcome that. I feel stupid a lot of times because we'll get together as a church, we'll pray, a few men will pray, a few women will pray, and then there's silence, and then or like we're relying on women to step up and pray. They do it more willingly than us men, which bugs the crap out of me. Like it's good the women are praying. There's nothing wrong with that. They need to be praying. But why are the men not stepping up and more so willing to pray in public than the women are? And I'm one of them, and I hate it. I hate that about me, and I'm not sure how to overcome that because we men have become weak in the church, and we need to step up. We really need to step up. Which I'll be putting out some information on that men's ministry that we were trying to get out there last week. So be looking for that on YouTube. And that's a good start. Good place to start. We can't be men without being in Christ. We need to be saved, born again men, to be true men. I agree with what you said about dress codes to attend church, but I bet you don't wear that hat. Usually not on Sundays. um, I used to it. I did Sundays at the old church out in Idaho. It was a little bit more relaxed there. We'd have a guy that would come Wednesday nights. He would come in his chore clothes, I think, work clothes, not chore clothes maybe, but work clothes, because that's when the service started. You got off of work, he came to church, and that was cool. Like why do we need to? Yeah, he's there for the word of God. He's not there to look good. But yeah, I did wear this hat. I don't wear a hat typically Sundays here. I do our Wednesday study. I'll wear a hat. I need to get a haircut and just not wear a hat, which means shaving. You want to see it, David? See, it's getting bad. My hair is really long, so it's covering a lot. But I can feel when I take a shower, when I'm washing my hair, that there's a lot more hair right here than right here in the middle, and it sucks. Oh, it sucks. Oh, our life struggles, right? Don't say mash infrastructure of a potato. Should not depend on what we wear as long as appropriate. God doesn't judge. Yep. The women should just dress like women. Men should dress like men. Like I've stated before in live streams, I love seeing women in dresses. I think it's very feminine, very elegant and beautiful. Not that I would say that women have to wear dresses. That's another argument. That's another video I need to do. Amish people believe that women should be wearing dresses because that's how it's always been. Well, then their men should be wearing robes like they used to back in the day, right? How it always was back then. But you don't want to bring that up. That kind of contradicts their thoughts a little bit. I agree about membership. My dad had similar beliefs. That's why we never joined the Amish or horse and buggy Mennonites. I also can't sit still for 3 hours, especially on backless bench. Yeah, that was brutal. 3 hours of that. So, yeah, hard. You have the true Amish hairline just like I did. So you're going there too. Yeah, see that? If I do that, it's bad. Can't believe I'm just showing you guys. I'm getting way too comfortable with you guys that I'm just showing you guys my hair. I'm with you on Andrew Donnelly. I'm good. I'm glad to hear that. I am with you on dresses. So you have the same. Yeah, I think it's very unfortunate that women typically kind of do what men want. I think in the long run. So for so long, women have been told that men want short shorts, tank tops, and skin, and yeah, it's that's what TV's been telling women all these years. And I think when it comes down to it, absolutely, in a lustful way, that's attractive. In a lustful way. And how long will that last in a relationship? But I think if men dig deep down, men, when they go to find a spouse for life, they would desire a feminine, a woman in dress more than the lustful one, right? I think they would, at least Christians, I hope, would want a woman who's more feminine, not necessarily dressed, but just feminine and fully dressed, not showing skin everywhere. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I was always kind of turned off by women showing a lot of skin. Neil Log, when men wear the dresses, that is worrisome. I know. We're getting there though. PA hair today, gone tomorrow. I never heard that. That is that's perfect. Can I have Amish friends online? Yeah. So where do you find them? You have to find them in here. Friend me on Facebook if you're on Facebook. I don't know. They're Amish are kind of weird though. Like even ex-Amish are like, oh, if I don't know them, I'm not gonna do anything with them. I don't know how to. You can't have Amish friends online. There's a lot of Amish youth on TikTok. Just follow Eli Yoder, and he has a bunch of Amish youth followers. Doll Jazz. I was raised where women only wear dresses. I had a time where I strayed away from that, but I'm back to dress only. The main thing is modesty, regardless of what you wear. Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. That's awesome that you're back. I hope we see more and more of that. We were watching with Miranda. We've watched Little House on the Prairie for a while, and we watched Anne of Green Gables now, the three Annie of Green Gables. And it's how has it, like, if that's how it was back then, how changed is our world? Like those kids, those kids had respect for their parents. Like they viewed their parents as the authority. Nowadays, even Amish kids are losing it. Like it around here. Like, yeah, like there's no respect for the parents. They think they're equal with the parents for some reason. And that's just, they've been conditioned to think that. And we've let them be that. And it's not okay. And it's hard if a family wants to bring back the old traditions, because they're the only ones doing it now. Everybody else in church or neighbors or whatever, they're fully world, and letting their kids disrespect them in that way. But, and I find it funny how Miranda, at the age of 13 now, she loves those shows. And why? Why does she like those shows? Because they're not the latest. They're not the coolest. Even her friends at church like the shows. So why are these little girls attracted to that life? Is it because maybe subconsciously they see something that's good and better that they desire, and they just don't know how to? They don't put their finger on it. They don't know. Like I don't know. I've wondered about that, like why she likes it, because she should be thinking at this age. She should be thinking, well, those aren't cool to watch. I'm not going to say they're cool. So I don't know. What's your thoughts on that, guys? Some of the dresses are too revealing. Yeah, they can be. Some dresses can be too revealing, for sure. Even some Amish dresses are too revealing. Yep. But yeah. And it says it's biblical. Yep, it is biblical. What do you say are the top 3 core values of an Amish person? I want to learn. That's a good question. Work ethic. Be a hard worker. Treat others as you want to be treated. Man, you're putting me on the spot here. I don't know. What are they? Come on, former Amish people in there. Let me know. Core values of an Amish person. Work ethic has got to be one of them. And helping other, being kind. I don't know. Being humble. Being humble is one of their, but I don't know if I want to say that's a good one, because their humility is fake sometimes. A lot of times. They have fake humility. They take pride in their humility. I've done a video, so I talked about that at one point. So, what is the other one? Community, would that be one of them? It's kind of loving. Yeah, I don't know. Help me out there in the chat, guys. 3 core values of an Amish person. You missed my question. I noticed about all the Amish and homes in Wayne County and Ohio ride e-bikes nowadays. How do they charge them? Probably solar panels. Yeah, I heard Holmes County is big on e-bikes. I heard that, and we talked about in previous streams, where some of the newlyweds, the newer couples growing up, are not even putting up a barn. If they build a house, they're not even putting up a barn and they're not getting a horse and buggy, because the e-bikes they just go, right? If the weather's too bad to ride your e-bike, or it's too far for your e-bike, you hire a driver. You would have anyway with a horse and buggy. So what's the point of having a horse and buggy? Which makes sense for sure, but it means they're going to lose that tradition. Yep. So solar panels, generators, whatever's necessary. And a lot of those guys probably have solar panels up, charging them off of that, because they'll probably have the tool battery lights as well that they're charging. So the old ones are the best. I'm not sure. Okay. Jesus, we stopped raising boys to be men and girls to be women. Exactly. We did. I blame television a lot for that. Satan, I know, is working through that. We stopped raising boys to be men and girls to be women. You know, I don't have a son, but if I had a son, as soon as he turned 13, he would no longer do things with my wife. My wife would not be able to. That sounds cruel. She would obviously be in his life, but women are, you know, moms are there. They're there, should be there for the first 13 years to keep them safe, coddle them a bit, you know, and be there for them when they get hurt and all that. But after 13, he would be becoming a man. He would suck it up. He would be put to doing things, and he would, if he gets hurt, you know, he gets hurt, he'd be taught how to be a man and not be influenced by the softness that women are. And women, you need to be soft. That's a good thing. the nurturing thing you guys have is beautiful. But for a boy at the age of 13, he can no longer be protected by his mother. You know, moms will always, don't climb that tree, you're going to get hurt, or don't do this, you know, because they're doing what they naturally need to do is protect their kids. But at the age of 13, the boy would be following me around. He would make mistakes. He would get hurt. He would learn. He would be encouraged to be a man, to take responsibilities. And yeah, I can say all these things, but I don't have a son. It's easy to say them and not do them. But I think at around that age, a boy has to be, I got this from the book Wild at Heart. A boy has to be told that he's now a man. So if he does something like he climbs a mountain, or he climbs up on top of a big rock at the age of 13, look, Dad, or look, Grandpa, I made it up here. He climbs to the top of a tree. Instead of being saying, get down from there, it's dangerous. Dude, you're a man. You just conquered it. That's hard. That's awesome. He needs to hear that. And then he'll have the confidence to conquer other things, even if they're hard, right? And then backing up to the women, since I have a girl, I don't know exactly how to handle this, but yeah, I'm trying to raise her to be a lady, to be respectful to me, which is kind of hard to do, but so that she's respectful to her husband, just be a lady. And it's hard in this world, right? With, you know, I took most TV away from her for that very reason, because there's a lot of conditioning that goes on by people watching movies. I think I would rather have a daughter who's getting married. Like, you know, Miranda's in a few years, she's going to be looking for a man to marry. And I think I would rather have that, because when she finds a spouse, I think it will be easier to take him aside and tell him, look, you know, this is your responsibility. I was responsible for Miranda now. I will answer to God for how I raised her, how I led her. And now I'm passing this responsibility over to you as her husband. You need to man up and take care of it. I think it'll be easier to convince him, to a man, to do what his role, take control of his role and do his duty as a husband, than it would be if I had a son, to take aside somebody else's daughter and be like, okay, you're now my son's wife, and you need, you know what I mean? So I'm kind of fortunate in that way, even though girls can be a little trickier emotionally. Yeah, David, we are proud of Miranda. We're not perfect. Every day I kick myself in the shin because of the things I do, but we're doing our best, and nobody's ever going to be perfect. It's hard. I'm taking, Miranda had her 13th birthday recently. So we got her a purity ring, and me and her are going to go out and have a nice dinner. She bought a dress for it, which I'm thankful for. I kind of hope she would. And I encourage my wife to go get her one. So we're going to dress up. We're going to have kind of not a formal, but kind of a nice dressy dinner at a fancy place. And then we're going to have a discussion about boys. So, and how that needs to be handled. And so I got a purity ring. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I haven't spoken to anybody who has experience with that. I just know it's a thing, and we're going to try it. I'm also going to give her a card, basically, that says a ticket that says that she can come to me with that card with something she did or is struggling with, and I will not get mad. This is not my idea. This is somebody else's idea too. So it's a not get mad card. So if she ever does something, messes up or whatever, and she needs to tell me, then she can bring this card to me and I can't get mad. So yeah, I do get mad sometimes. Yeah, I know. But I can't then. So I'll give her that too. And then I'll probably return that card to her if she brings it to me. I'll get mad if she brings it to me like 5 times a week. So. Yeah, thanks for the sticker compliment. Green hubs. Little House, the books are even better. Yeah, we haven't read the books. Miranda's not much of a reader. I wish she was. She just isn't. Love the old Anna Green Gables. You're raising Miranda nicely. Proud of Hannah. Yep, haven't seen your middle daughter. I'm sure she's doing well. Yeah, we hope so. That's a different situation that I can't speak of on here. So it's kind of the reason we're in Michigan, but I can't give out details. We're praying for her and all that. But yeah, we're Hannah. We're proud of Hannah and proud of Miranda and praying for Dara. So hopefully, yeah, we're hoping all is well with her. Worth ethic, humility, God are the 3 we grew up with. Yep, I would say, yep, that's right. Yep. Just the wrong God, kind of, the wrong Jesus, I would say. But yeah, God. Still, I keep harping on the false religion of the Amish, but they're still good people. And they try to follow the 10 Commandments, right? Most of them are good people and they try to follow the 10 Commandments, which if you do that, you're just going to be, your life's going to be better. Admire community, constant food supply, and financial security that the Amish have. Yeah, not all of them have financial security, but yeah. I mean, they will have. They have community. That covers all of them. Yeah. Work ethic, community. That's awesome, yeah. Boys pull away from their moms at that age. I have 2. It is awful. They need dad. Yep, Kyrie. That's boys pull away from their moms at that age. I have 2. It is awful. Yeah, let them go. Like, let them be men. If anybody's a single mom, if there's no dad in their life, or a dad's in prison, or whatever it may be, find a male influence. Find a good church and then start talking to other men about taking your boys, putting them to work, whatever it may be. Like I would happily take in a boy, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20 years old. I couldn't pay him for any of the work, but I would happily take him under my wing to show him all that I've learned. And hopefully there's other men who would do that, even if it's just a fishing trip. If just start asking for men who will take your son to do manly things with him, and help him become a man. Be picky about who you get, but I encourage you guys to try. If you're a single mom, get those boys out there. Even if they're younger than 13, that's fine. Just get some man influence, good Christian man influence in them. And men in the churches, be looking for that. Like if you have somebody offer to take him fishing or something, or hunting, or teach him something you like doing, or whatever it is, take him along golfing with your buddies, just so he's around men and he can start seeing what it's like. I've taken a young boy at church in Idaho. I took him backpacking one time, and he was kind of a troubled kid in Idaho. He was the troubled kid in church. He kept getting in trouble. And there for a while, me and my wife, we took a few of these kids who were troublemakers in Sunday class. Like they just distracted everybody else. Sunday school class, the 6, 7, 8-year-olds, they were just troublemakers. They couldn't hold still. They wouldn't listen. Right. We did Sunday school with them, and they were a handful. And let me check and see if dinner's ready. Yeah, babe, is dinner ready? No. Oh yeah, and for a while there, we volunteered to do a separate class just for these 3 guys, three boys that were, troublemakers, for lack of a better word, and because we thought that maybe if we didn't have 15 other kids and gave them attention, that we'd have a bigger influence on them, and it worked beautifully. Like we could actually sit down and have a conversation and actually hear their life, hear what's going on in their lives, and speak to it, and they loved it. They sometimes when I'd be doing sound, so I couldn't do it that Sunday, and they would come looking for us, like, oh man. And I think it should be like, if you have a problem with that in your church, that's a good way to, if you can get volunteers to do that, that's a great way. But anyway, I took one of these boys, his dad, I think he lived in Alaska, and it was just his mom. And so I took him backpacking, and he loved it. He kept begging to do more, and it's just, it'll stick with him for life, I'm sure. And I'm not trying to hold myself up, but I'm just, it's something the men of the church need to be looking for and doing. I probably shouldn't have taken him alone. Probably should have had another guy with me, I guess, I don't know if you can get in trouble or not. Yeah, I don't know. But just be careful how you handle those things, because it is somebody else's kid. But I encourage single moms to look for a guy that can do that, or men in the church who don't have sons, or whose sons are all married and gone. Get involved, man. The youth is the way we're going to change this world is not by a new president. The way we're going to change this country is, not by president. It is with raising our kids correctly. It's with the traditional family, the mom and dad at home, God in the family, doing it properly. So get on that. Men nowadays have to be self-made. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of good influences. I don't know what happened, guys. I just, that's one thing with Amish farms, that they're out there working with their dads, and that's huge, but they're losing it here because there's not a lot of farms, not that many farms left in northern Indiana. So I was going to quit at 1.5 hours. Now it's 2 hours already, 7 o'clock. So Grace says, to overcome praying out loud is not worry about praying for other people to listen to what. Yeah, I don't know. Not sure what you're saying there. Time you all to adopt, so you have a son, you would make a great father, a son that has been traumatized by the foster system. Yeah, I don't know if my wife's on board. But I'm looking forward to grandsons so I can pass on everything I've learned. I'll probably drive them nuts, Shut up, Grandpa. We know. but I have so much. I love learning, and I love knowing how to do things, and I just want to pass it on, and I can't really to my daughter some of the things, but not all. Amish values still come through when you speak of parenting. Exactly. Yeah, that's another thing you can take away from Amish for the most part is parenting. Except show love to your kids. Amish don't do a very good job of that. So take Amish parenting and show your kids you love them. Tell them you love them. Give them a hug. I've seen you and Miranda, your wife, are doing nicely. Yeah, she's. Yeah, we're happy. We're proud of Miranda. She's a good kid. She had to go to some friends and make her first apology. I was proud of my wife to do that with her, to make her go over there and apologize for some stuff that was going on, just some mix-ups that Miranda she said something she wasn't aware of how it's going to affect people. And so it was good for her, hard, but I told her, it's going to suck going over there and you're going to be nervous and you're going to have butterflies. But once it's all done, if you're going apologizing, most people will accept the apology and love you even more for it. And that when it's all said and done, you're going to be so glad you did. And I asked her afterward, and she was like, "Yep, I am glad. I am glad I did. They still like me." Well, yep. So I did the purity ring thing. Hey, how did the purity ring thing go, David? Yeah. I mean, you don't have to tell me if you don't want to, but single parent of 17 years. Wow, it's a long time. 4 turned out well. That's awesome. That's good to hear. So, Gracie, one way to overcome fear of praying in public out loud is to not be concerned about what the people are thinking of how you word your prayers. You're not praying to them. You're praying to God. Yeah, that's it. I don't know how to not worry, not worry about what people are hearing my words. They're thinking of how I'm wording things. That's my problem. I struggle with wording things. I hear other people and they're so pray so perfectly, and then this Amish kid comes along and stumbles. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. I met my daughter's first boyfriend wearing a couple sidearms. I don't know why you need a couple, but I don't know that that's a bad thing. I wish more people would wear sidearms. Good people. So rare to know how to build things. I'm trying to do some home improvements myself and so many things to learn how to fix things. Yeah, it's just a learning curve. Just do it. There's no excuse for especially boys to not know how to build things if they have access to YouTube. Like it all takes money, but you just got to follow YouTube videos. They don't give you all the details. You just got to build it. You're going to make mistakes. It happens to me. It's everybody compliments on how I can just build things. Well, I've been through the mistakes. I've learned through my mistakes. I learned the hard way. That's how I know how to build things the way I do nowadays. So it looks like you're going to take me in $50 an hour. Whew. I can't do that. I'm not even getting paid that, Green Hubs, but move on out here. I wish most teens made a purity pledge. People should wait until marriage. Yeah, I don't know how to handle that. Like I don't want to force her to make a purity pledge. I want her to choose that. So how to initiate that is still a bit of a question for me. How do I get her to choose that and me not forcing it on her? Because I definitely want her to stay a virgin until she's married. But if she's wearing this ring because I want her to, and say she does mess up and sleeps with a guy, I don't want her to be plagued for years with her wearing this ring and it haunting her because she knows she's no longer pure or a virgin. You know what I mean? So that's one thing I'm a little concerned about. Like hopefully it works and she just stays pure until she's married. She saves that for her husband. But what if it doesn't? Like this is because she doesn't like to disappoint me, and but I don't want her to be depressed because of a mess up, right? just got to watch so that can never happen. Well, I'm going to walk with her and her boyfriend all the time with a couple handguns. That's a good idea. The purity ring worked well. The secret is to remind them of the meaning of the ring. I am sure you know that. Yeah. Man, just tell me word for word how to handle that. Let your wife talk to your son's fiance when the time comes. All right, I might have to do that. Yep. Feel like chewing. How am I that far? I feel like chewing the Amish out for using e-bikes. They can't do that. Well, they can. I see them on little, whatever, the two-wheeled things, platform. I saw a kid. I don't know if he was a member of the Amish church or not, but he's whizzes down the road. No, actually, it's a one-wheel thing with the pedals on each side. He just travels everywhere with that thing. I truly don't care about buttercups. I care about my daughter. I'm not sure what you mean by buttercups. I'm a man of many fathers and learned a lot from them. Yeah, I think a boy, a kid, he needs more than just his dad. His dad is obviously the biggest thing, but he needs to be with his dad around other men to learn. Just to know what it's like to interact with other men and how to be men and how. Maybe men when they are on hunting trips or something, they can be a little rougher sometimes. They're a little cruder because they're men. Like men are wild at heart. Like we have this need to conquer, and we have this need to test ourselves and skills and push ourselves to the limit. I think, and we need to awaken that again. It's been squished, but we need to awaken it. And pushing ourselves to the limit and testing ourselves and conquering doesn't mean going to war and killing people necessarily. I think, but it just means setting goals and going after it and doing it. I always, seems like I always have to be building something. Right now I'm not in it. I need a project to work on. Like I have time, but yeah, like if as from a 15, 14-year-old boy, like he it's good for him to set a goal of building a chicken coop and then doing it. Like that's conquering the unknown. Like he's getting experience out of that, or maybe it's going on a 5-day hike in the mountains just to see if he can survive. Obviously take precautions, but they make, if you want to send your boys, a group of boys out there, that's great. I think one of the best things, us men, like if I had a son, I wish I had a son. I would get my brothers and their sons who are old enough. We would take them out west. We would give them some supplies, some knives and stuff and whatever it may be. And we would make them go hiking and work together and survive for 2-3 days, right? Fix a little shelter, whatever it may be, to sleep in. We would obviously give them the necessities, while us brothers would sit back in our tents with our mountain house freeze-dried food and watch them and make sure they're okay, but just let them do their thing. Fish for their food. They might go hungry for a day or two. So what? So what? It's the experience, They'll learn a lot. Revive Our Hearts on YouTube has a lot of stories of women who didn't wait. They have repentant women who did not do it God's way. You can see the outcome of that. Oh, that's interesting. Thank you for that, Kyrie. I need to Revive Our Hearts. I'll check it out. Purity pledge, unrealistic. Respectfully, most people don't wait until marriage. Sure, we try to protect our children with love, including puppy love.
Are you good with fish when I get back? I gotta go get them.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yeah. Unrealistic. Respectfully, most people don't wait until marriage. Sure, we try to protect our children, but love, including puppy love, can be overwhelming. Yeah, I understand, Cheryl. It's just, we got to try. And I don't know that it's unrealistic though. It seems like it in this day and age because it's just where people are at. But, it's because I don't think we're teaching our kids. And I don't know. We're going to try it. Like maybe it is unrealistic. I don't know, but I'm gonna do what I can. I'm gonna do everything I can because, like I said earlier, I will stand before God and answer for the way I have raised my children and how I treated my wife. How much like I'll answer for the husband I am, which should make me shake in my boots. As a Hutterite lady, I always have to be doing something. Hey, Andrea. So Hutterite, hey, are you allowed to have TVs, phones? Interesting. Let me know. Join us next week. I got some questions for you. Good Sewing Project is therapy for me. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I think it's good. It's good for, I need to, yeah, same with you, same as you. I need to have something going on. Be careful what you wish for. Can't remember what I was talking about. Gracie, I'm a single mother, and when my sons who are in their 40s now. We'll stand before God one day. Yep. So, yeah, I'm not looking forward to that so much, Bob. I know I'm saved, so we know we're saved, but we still have to answer for things, I guess, from the way I understand it. But anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I got some things to do. My wife's gonna have supper ready. Oh, not till maybe more like 8 o'clock. But it's been 2 hours, so we will. So stream change. I'll put a notification up. Maybe I'll just get off of here and do a poll. Kind of want to keep Sundays again for family time. It does work well though. Maybe I need to keep it Sundays. It's just with church, and then nice to have a day off after church. I'll think on it. I might try one Saturday night or Friday night, but then we'll have stuff going on Friday night, Saturdays. Maybe I'll do every other Saturday. I don't know. I'll keep you guys posted. Thanks for joining. Hit that like button one more time if you haven't already. No TV, Andrea says. Okay. Yeah. God bless you guys. We will see you next time. Oh, now we end it? Okay.